Queen Inanna, the Queen of Heaven, lived a luxurious life adored by her people, but she wasn't happy or fulfilled. One day, she heard a cry filled with grief coming from down below. It was her sister, Ereshkigal, the queen of the underworld, wailing in sorrow. So Inanna decided to do something that was not very acceptable. She would journey from heaven into the underworld to be with her sister. As she descended, Inanna had to pass a sequence of 7 gates, and each time she reached a gate, the gatekeeper forced her to leave something of hers behind. First, she took her crown off, then her jewelry, then her robes. When she finally arrived in the underworld, Inanna was completely naked. No more titles, roles, or masks. Only the raw truth of who she really was, bearing witness to her sister's pain. This story is the oldest recorded myth in human history, written around 5,000 years ago by a Sumerian high priestess named Enheduanna in ancient Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq. The myth of Inanna's descent is one of my absolute favorite stories about spiritual transformation and our longing to be our authentic selves. Real, raw, without masks, without pretending. Just the real you, standing metaphorically naked, confident and in your power for everyone to see. The fact that Inanna's story is the oldest recorded myth in all of humanity also points to an ancient struggle that we humans have faced for eons of time. The inner struggle between longing to be real and authentic and the pressure to use masks and hide parts of ourselves. Inanna's descent mirrors the painful struggles so many women and men feel today. The struggle to find their real selves after years, sometimes a lifetime, of wearing masks and hiding. In this video, we'll go deep into this ancient struggle that humans have between wanting to be real and authentic and feeling like outwardly they also have to wear masks and pretend to be someone they're not. You'll learn why we hide behind masks and play small, and the answer to this is in a hidden piece of Inanna's story that I left out. What happens on a spiritual level when we hide or wear masks, and how to step into the real and authentic you that your soul desperately wants you to be in this life. In working with thousands of clients over the years, I found that there are 3 primary reasons why we wear masks or hide parts of ourselves, and I'm going to share these reasons in order of importance or by how much they influence your level of hiding. The first reason is for safety. This is by far the biggest reason why people hide, especially women. Somewhere in your past, whether in your childhood or even in a past life, you experienced an actual danger or a perception of danger by being yourself. Here are a couple of examples of this at play. Maybe as a child, you were a really sensitive little boy who expressed his emotions easily, but you had a domineering father who beat you, ridiculed you, or called you names for being sensitive. Even as a child, you learned quickly that being yourself was dangerous, so you started to wear the tough guy mask that hid your true nature in order to survive. Another example is a little girl who was willful, adventurous, and a bit of a tomboy, as they call them. You hated to wear dresses and you loved to play with boys, and soon enough, you started to be judged or criticized for doing things that supposedly good girls are not supposed to do. So you quickly developed the good girl mask, changing your behavior to fit more of what your parents wanted you to look like. Or we can go even further back to share an example of something that I have seen a lot with clients over the years. Light workers, that's you and me, we're souls that have come down here to planet Earth to assist humanity and be of service. But in past lives, many light workers suffered or were misunderstood because we were out-of-the-box kind of people. So maybe you were a powerful healer who your community deemed as a devil and sentenced to die by fire or to be stoned. Then in this lifetime, when you were born, you already had an embedded memory of that past tragedy and grew up with this unconscious feeling that being yourself was dangerous and that hiding was necessary. There's also the issue of abandonment or perceived abandonment when we hide ourselves because we're afraid of being abandoned by a group or family. The need to stay connected has a biological survival component for a mammalian species like us because mammals don't tend to survive long without each other. So often we'll hide our true selves just to stay safe within a group, even if in the long run it destroys us. All these examples show a core emotion at the heart of it all: fear. The primary emotion driving your need to hide is fear for your safety. This is why safety comes first, because the feeling of being in danger or perceiving danger creates a fear that drives your hiding and masks, so the hiding becomes a need. The second reason we hide or wear masks is because of shame. If we're ashamed or critical of parts of ourselves, we will never want to show ourselves to the world. And this internalized shame will also give rise to what spiritual teachers call the shadow self, which is the part of you that remains repressed and unconsciously hidden outside of your awareness. Remember the story of Inanna that I opened this video with? Here's where things get interesting and why I love this myth so much. It has a deeper layer to its interpretation that I didn't reveal when I initially told it. Inanna didn't really go to the underworld to be with her sister. She went to discover and embrace herself and the parts of her that she had hidden and repressed. So Ereshkigal was really just a part of Inanna that she had long disconnected from. And why? Because a queen cannot show her vulnerability or raw emotion, the grief. So she hid those raw and darker parts of herself behind the mask of a queen. She was ashamed of the parts of herself that were deemed unacceptable. So in reality, the descent of Inanna into the underworld is a metaphorical representation of a woman who gets to a point in her life where she's tired of hiding, and where the pain of hiding becomes too deep to keep the masks up. Ereshkigal is the metaphorical representation of Inanna listening to the call of grief and sorrow that comes when we hide ourselves behind masks that at one time in our lives may have protected us, but that are now suffocating us. Inanna understands that the shame was keeping her from a part of herself that was actually tender, beautiful, and deeply feeling. Speaking of the shadow self, we work on seeing and integrating the shadow self inside my coaching program, Heart Alchemy. If you feel ready to do the deeper healing and spiritual work that will integrate your shadow self, consider joining us in Heart Alchemy. Inside, you'll get clear guidance and structured support to help you do shadow work and grow into a more powerful and healed version of yourself. 93% of our members see a significant increase in their personal growth and healing after they join our community. To learn more about Heart Alchemy, go over to my Instagram with the handle The Heart Alchemist and DM me the word Heart26. We'll talk about how Heart Alchemy can completely change your life. The third reason why we hide ourselves is we don't know any different. Remember that most of us start hiding when we were children, and when I hide for that long, I forget who the real me is anymore. I've had so many clients say to me over the years, I've been pretending for so long, I don't know how to be real now. This is not just a personality issue. This has a strong spiritual and somatic undertone because when I start hiding as a child, two things happen. The first thing is that I start fawning. This is a survival response like fight, flight, and freeze. But fawning is slightly different because it's when I try to mold my behavior in order to appease someone and keep myself safe from that person in the process. The classic example of this is the child of an alcoholic who, when dad gets drunk, will behave in a way to please the dad and not trigger any drunken rage in him. So they'll often speak quietly, not ask anything, or they'll even go get alcohol for the father. They'll do anything they can to appease the person in order to stay safe. Fawning means I change my behavior like a chameleon depending on how safe I feel in my environment or around certain people. The fawn response is quite complex from a nervous system perspective because when I fawn, I'm trying to stay attached to the person that I'm scared of, which is very different from a fight or flight response where I want to be as far away from that person as possible. So here with fawn, I want to stay connected to them, but it's not connected in a genuine way. I'm trying to stay connected out of fear. So for example, the child can be smiling on the outside just to appease while her heart is racing and she's very anxious and nervous on the inside. This isn't genuine attachment, which would be a relaxed kind of body response where the child is calm while they're connected. We usually learn to fawn as children when we're scared of our parents, but we need to stay connected to them in order to survive. Then, because we got so good at appeasing our caretakers, we grow up and we fawn around everyone else. And pretty soon, we're such good chameleons that we have no idea who our real self is anymore. The second thing that happens here when I don't know who I am and I fawn a lot, I'm going to end up developing a weak solar plexus. Spiritually, my solar plexus, or third chakra, is the energy center where my personality first takes shape. It's here at the center of your body, at the top of your stomach. This is the center of individuality, personal power, and free will. So when this energy center is weak, I never develop a strong sense of who I am as a unique individual. People with weak third chakras often don't know who they are, and they struggle to define themselves, their uniqueness, their likes, and their dislikes. So the fawning and the weak solar plexus, when they come together, they create this perfect storm where people tell me that even when they want to be authentic or real, they don't know how to because they don't know themselves. Regardless of the reason why we hide, there's something that happens on a spiritual level the moment we start to wear masks. We split our energy and create a false self. When I start working with clients who have worn masks or have been hiding their whole lives, they often come to me feeling exhausted. And the reason they're exhausted is because every single day they lose energy or chi from pretending to be someone they're not. Instead of channeling vital energy to one person who feels authentic and whole, their energy system is funneling energy to two totally different people: the authentic you underneath all the masks and the false self you have created over the years. This is exhausting. Not to mention that it makes you feel incomplete or fragmented, just like Inanna did when she was trying to live her life normally, pretending to be happy when a part of her was buried and repressed in the underworld. But although this bone-deep exhaustion that many of my clients felt before they began to live more authentically was painful, it was also a hidden gift, because one day it forced them to make a choice. They got so depleted from having two people inside of them that they finally chose to let one die off so they could finally become themselves. The first place to start in the journey of authenticity is this: you must feel safe first. Because the main reason why we hide for so long is because at some point being ourselves felt unsafe. And this lack of safety most likely happened in your childhood, so that means I now have to create safety for myself. I couldn't do that as a child, but now as a grown adult, it's my responsibility to cultivate that safety inside of me. My adult self has to project inner strength to the inner child in me that still feels unsafe to be real and authentic. So how do I create this safety in myself? I start with safety affirmations plus relaxation. Lie on your back with your arms and legs spread apart in what's known as the starfish position. This type of open body position signals to your nervous system that you're safe and can relax. Take a few deep breaths in this position, and when you feel relaxed, repeat these statements. It's safe to be authentic. I am now safe to be the real me. My authentic self is powerful. Repeat these affirmations out loud if you can, for as many times as you like. When you feel ready, open your eyes and come up to a quiet sitting position and feel how your body feels. This exercise is a powerful way to start training your body and energy system into authenticity. Then, there's a pro tip that will be a game changer for you, and it's also at the heart of Inanna's story. Here it is. The key to being authentic is to love and honor all parts of yourself. That's exactly what Inanna did when she decided to listen to that cry and descend into the underworld. Every step she took down into her inner world, the more she was loving herself. Because self-love means that I'm willing to see, accept, and love all parts of me, even the ones that I was ashamed or uncomfortable with before. When Inanna gets to the underworld and embraces the shadow part of herself represented by Ereshkigal, she becomes whole, and in that wholeness, she becomes more powerful than she was before. Because self-love generates a powerful energy that then also equals safety. The more you love yourself, the safer you feel. And look, I know that becoming more authentic or embracing your shadow self is not an easy-peasy thing to do sometimes, because we humans often resist change even when it's the best thing for us. Watch this video next to discover why we resist change and what to do to become a person who thrives with change even when it's scary.